Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are back to react to the season finale of Moon Knight. At least I think it's the season finale. They haven't announced anything yet, I don't believe, about whether or not there will be a second season or if this is more like a limited series. I feel like in the past they've been a little more transparent with whether or not things are limited series, like WandaVision was clearly a limited series. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was clearly a limited series. And they were kind of open that like Loki was just like a season one, I believe. But I saw a tweet or something that was like they put out that this is the finale of this, or they put out this is the season finale, and many people are interpreting that to be like this is just season one and he'll be back. But I know Oscar Isaac, at least publicly, hasn't committed to being back for another season. So we'll see what happens. Last week's episode was just family trauma, the episode. We dove fully into all the trauma that led to the creation of Steven and possibly Jake Lockley, don't know yet. Where, you know, we found out that he accidentally got his brother killed and that his mom spiraled into depression and blamed him and abused him and then died, and all of this, you know, the abuse created Steven, and then her dying is what created that like event where he couldn't really control Steven anymore. A couple months passed, so that's kind of what led into the events of this series. Mark still dead as far as we know, but by the end of the episode, Steven protected him and saved him, and fell into the sands of the Duat, where he was encased in sand. Meanwhile, Mark went to the field of reeds, and that's where we left off. Presumably Steven will be coming back because the episode description like on the Disney Plus website, when you click on the episode, it says like Mark, Steven, and Khonshu you know, help fight Harrow or whatever it said. It was like something like that, but it leads you to believe that Steven's coming back. So that's good that he is not like permanently dead, Styles, because that would be a bummer. I've really been enjoying this series so far, and especially like their very nuanced take on like things like DID, which I was watching. I forgot what I was watching. Oh, I was watching someone react to Thor Ragnarok, Diegesis. Shout out to them. And it made me think like, did Thor, or not Thor, did Hulk technically have DID? I mean, not like diagnosed, but like, would that count as the same thing? I don't know, because there are two separate people, like Bruce Banner and the Hulk, two separate people. And while it didn't necessarily come from trauma, I don't know. That's just I don't want to offend anyone by possibly bringing up that question. I'm just curious, because then they more formed into one entity. Could that theoretically happen with Mark and Steven? I don't know. But I'm excited to jump into this finale. Before we do that, please consider leaving a like on the video. It means a ton to me and it helps my channel grow a lot. If you're new here or find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see me react to more Marvel content. I'm going to be reacting to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness when that eventually comes out on Disney Plus. It is taking my entire willpower to not go see that in theaters, so you can look forward to that in the future. It'll be my first time watching it on the channel, so I'm super pumped about that. But if you want to support me even further, consider checking out my Patreon. I post full uncut reactions for everything I watch over on Patreon, so if you're interested in that, consider checking that out. But otherwise, let's jump into the Season 1 finale of Moon Knight. Pretty shallow water. Oh, they gotta search him for the little alligator statue.
I'm sorry it had to be this way.
So this is all happening I assume this is happening congruently to what we saw last episode.
Sometimes we need the cold light of death before we can see reality.
Fair. She just killed that guy? She went all Assassin's Creed, Uncharted style. Stealth kills. She's just gonna pick them off one by one as they all go. What was that? Must have been nothing.
Who wants to heal the world?
Turn that into an axe. You can chop it in half. Oh, she probably assumes he could heal. Oh, and the last thing she said to him was essentially blaming him for her father's death. That's gotta be rough. Oh, she can use that to follow them. Yes. Because it points the way to the little statue. Smart. Shouldn't have left that behind, Arrow.
I don't need to show you my papers. You need to show us your soul.
Ooh. Sucking souls out their bodies.
This is the face of a good man.
Didn't that guy just have a shotgun drawn on you? But he's a good man. He was willing to blow you away half a second ago. Who's that, Layla?
Don't do it. Layla, wait. I am the goddess Taweret.
Oh, she's speaking through dead people right now?
It's Mark who's telling you to stop. What the hell is this?
It's Mark who's telling you to stop.
Going to need Khonshu. Break his Shabti. It's in the chamber of the gods. And you can be my avatar. Mark says wonderful things about you.
No. I'll fight him on my own. It's time to go!
And you can be my avatar. He says wonderful things about you. That's so funny. It's like, consolation prize. You may not be able to be Khonshu's avatar, but you can be Taweret's. That could be a good way to avoid Khonshu taking her.
You won't believe what the gods have hidden from mankind.
Who's more powerful? Break them all. Break all of them. Just free all those gods.
This is all so avoidable.
Dang, he just straight up killed them, like, easily. And he had to wait until they were in here to bring her back? That's a big crocodile.
My goddess.
But you are the one who set me free. You are
I wonder
the
who's
avatar
voicing her.
that I need. Serve me, and you will find peace. Do not let the pain of the past control you.
He's been doing that the whole time. Break it. Yeah.
If Mark is truly gone, I am in need of an avatar. Would you, Layla El Fuli, protect the travelers of the
You're
night?
joking. You turned Mark's life into a wake nightmare. Why would I ever sign up for that?
Fair.
We must rebind Ammit. Only an avatar can do it.
Yeah, but they needed like 5 people to bind him. How are they gonna bind her with one person?
Honshu, time has been cruel to you.
Yeah, he's a skeleton.
It's so
Lonely?
quiet.
Yes, you've always wanted it.
What about Stephen?
He's gone, Mark. Duat has him. Please, enjoy your peace.
He can't enjoy his peace when he knows Stephen sacrificed himself.
We need to go back for him.
Leave here, and you can't return.
He's fine with that.
So I get to go on to eternal peace and he just stays lost in the sand forever?
Not good enough for him.
Wait! Think about this!
Smooth. Just instantly, as soon as he makes up his mind, just transitions back to the sand. Now he's got to avoid those zombies. Or are they not going to come for him?
Looking pretty rough, man. I don't know if you can hear me.
Take his hand. Clasp it like you'll be whole again.
You saved me.
And he saved you again.
I survived because I knew I wasn't alone.
Ooh. Don't stay there too long.
He didn't bed. He didn't bed. And all that field back there was looking pretty good. There's no way in hell I'm gonna abandon you.
Ooh. The gates are opening. Osiris has taken pity because he was just murdered. Or his avatar was, right? Maybe he realizes what's going down.
Well, I did a whole little speech there. I wasn't that little. You had to... Right, look, the gates are open.
Oh, Honshu, for a god. You are low on faith.
You'll never learn.
CGI monster fight. Let's go. Yeah, you guys should leave.
Now run!
She broke the wave.
Go, go!
Steven.
I choose obliteration.
We're almost there. Come on.
He still got bullet holes in him. Oh, he sensed that he was back. Oh, the bullets. It's like when Logan heals Wolverine. The bullets he just spits them out. And he's back, baby.
Here we go.
This is the first time Moon Knight's doing his thing in the daylight.
Now, how the heck are we gonna get to Cairo?
You forget, little worm. I am still the god of the night sky.
Oh, all right. You know what? I think you can take this one, Mark.
Hurry up, idiots!
He can fly now? He flies now? He flies now. That's a Star Wars reference. An Oscar Isaac Star Wars reference, for those of you who don't know.
Taweret. Are you there?
Should speak through that dead body. Don't scream. We're gonna have so much fun together. What will she look like? Does she get a cool costume? She just turns into a giant hippo.
Oh, you changed your mind. I would be delighted to accept you as my avatar.
Temporary avatar.
Yes, of course. I have a fabulous costume.
Yeet. He flies now. He flies now. I can't not make that reference. So Moon Knight can fly. I wonder if that's an alteration of the comics canon. It's like a F-16. Oh, she just gets bigger? She's like the monster in Shang-Chi. Hey, yo. What's your costume gonna be? Show me your cool hippo costume. Okay. Okay, girl. Work it. Yeah, pose. Pose. Oh. That's sick. Get it, girl. She's gonna see this dope ass costume and be like, alright, maybe I'm not just a temporary avatar. She's like, I think I might do this permanent styles. Art! Oh, this is like a Gundam or Pacific Rim, where like the actions of the small people translates to the big people fight. Neat. And I assume the power of the big people translates to the small people fight as well. Bro, just ruined their meal. Yes! Get it, girl. She's like Falcon. She's the new Falcon, but Egyptian version.
Layla.
What it do, baby? Oh. She pretty much like is Falcon. Just an Egyptian god version of it.
Wow, you look amazing. What are you wearing?
Yeah. Steven, wow, you look amazing. I agree, Steven. She is a queen. Layla, my queen. Dang, she's like already super good. God dang, Steven. Ya boy. Incredible. Oh, dude. The way they're able to just transition back and forth. I mean, where did Steven learn to fight like that? But still. Ooh, bitchin'. That's it. That's his go-to move. He loves that move. Will the two of them be enough, though? I like the fighting style of Steven. Whereas Mark's a little more, you know, brawler, like fisticuff, like hard hitting. Steven's a little more tactical, agile. Get them back! Okay. Get out of here. Child, Become an avatar. Yes? Are you Egyptian superhero? I am. He's just like, yeah, I am. Deal with it. Dang, she is awesome.
Come on!
Yo, Layla's a badass.
Had Ammit been allowed to rule, young Randall's life would have been saved. Your family would have been happy.
How?
She need only remove one weed from the garden.
Is he essentially saying, like, yeah, you would have died and your brother would have lived? Their souls are gonna get claimed, and Jake's will be the only one left. Oh, Jake. Oh my God. Jake Lockley, what did you just do? What did you just do, Jacob? Ooh, give me a new costume as well.
Chance, mate.
No chance, mate. God damn, son. Meet the new guy. I guess they're using those other gods. They just don't have avatars for them. So if they bind her to his body, if they kill him, then what happens? Or do they then have to let him live? What happens if he dies of old age? Does that count the same as breaking her Ushakti? Curious how that works. And then does that become the role of Moon Knight throughout time? Is making sure that he doesn't get out?
Leave neither of them alive.
Will he do it though? Okay. So then, yeah. So he's gonna let him live. What's the solution going forward then? Like, what's the plan? I mean, I'm cool with not killing him. Just like, figure out what comes next. No. He's gonna say no.
As you wish.
Oh, never mind. He's like, also, with releasing you, here's all your injuries you've accumulated.
This chair.
What?
There's the light. World first created in imagination.
He's got bloody footprints.
Why am I bleeding?
Is this... What is this?
Well, it is tempting to accept your diagnosis, Doc. We'd rather go save the world. Later, skaters.
Later, skaters. And he's back in his bed. What is going on?
Can't believe it worked.
Hey, you got 2 fish now.
I can't believe you live in this frickin' mess.
Well, now you can do away with the bed restraints, which is neat. No way. Oh, you kidding me? That's the end of the episode. There's gotta be something after. So, like, what happens now? Because Khonshu freed them, but then they're like, we'd rather go save the world. What does that mean? And what was that little mind palace? I'm very confused about the end of this episode. There's got to be a after credits though, right? With a man without love. love that this has become like a TikTok trend. I wonder if he like would still have the Moon Knight powers, just not be enslaved to Moon Knight.
I beg your pardon.
Speaking Spanish? That looks like that silhouette of that person kind of looks like Oscar Isaac. Is this Jake? Jake Lockley? Are we... Oh my god, it is, isn't it? This is Jake Lockley. He's got the cabbie hat on. Oh my god, no way. And he's got the tie. And he's essentially a cab driver. Yo!
Mark Spector truly believed that after he and I parted ways, I wanted his wife to be my avatar. Why would I ever need anybody else? And he has no idea how troubled he truly is.
Jake Lockley.
Meet my friend, Jake Lockley.
Hoy te toca perder.
He killed him! Spectre. So he's Spanish. So all that stuff previously, we hadn't really seen Jake Lockley, like the accent changes wasn't Jake Lockley, but the Spanish is. Oh my god. He's a little more brutal. So Khonshu didn't actually free Mark and Steven. At least he said he did. And he was like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'll pretend to be gone while you guys are present. But when I need my boy, when we need to do some shenanigans, Jake Lockley's going to come out. And then we will be Moon Knight together. That's all. Oh, boy. As soon as I saw, like, the outline of, like, when the person's speaking Spanish, I was like, who could this be? And then you see him wheel him away, and I was like, that looks like the body silhouette of Oscar Isaac. And then the pieces, you start seeing the pieces of him individually, one by one, like you see the hat, like the cabbie hat, you see the tie, and you're like, oh my god, this is Jake Lockley. Oh, answers my questions of like what's gonna happen now that Moon Knight released them. But the thing is, he didn't release them. So I imagine Steven and Mark unwittingly are immortal. Like what's gonna happen if they accidentally get like shot in the face, and they think they're dead, they're gonna die, and Khonshu has to be like, hey, yeah, listen, I lied. Oh, incredible. This show is so fun. Okay, so we start off kind of like seeing what happened at the same time as all the stuff that was happening in last episode. You know, Harrow kills Stephen Mark and takes the little statue and is gonna leave. Have a sweet moment with Layla where she's like crying over his dead body because one, she loves him, even though she kissed Steven. I think she truly loves Mark. Like that little her and Steven thing. I don't know if that was a thing. I mean, maybe they're gonna turn this into like a polyamorous relationship somehow, where she's like she loves both Steven and Mark romantically. That would be interesting. And it would introduce a little bit of a cuckold relationship at the same time, because like, well, something's happening with one person, the other guy just has to watch. That's so funny. And maybe she'll have to, maybe they'll be like, listen, man, I'm sorry, Steven. but we are married. You know, the divorce papers haven't been finalized. It's technically still married. We're going to hold true to that commitment. You have to just be sad and lonely. It's a bummer though. But Layla's going to kill Hara, or she's going to try at least. And then Taweret is like, yo, I'm speaking through this dead body. Just stop. Very liberal use of the hands by the guard that's just laying on the ground like, hey, stop it. And they're like, listen, man, you gotta free Khonshu. Well, everything will be jazzy, everything will be great if you free Khonshu. And then Haro lets Ammit free and becomes her avatar, kind of like how we all expected, I think. Although I think I was almost under the assumption that he was already her avatar. She was just bound. But he, I guess, just had her staff somehow. Because she didn't really seem to know who he was when she came back. So maybe he just found her staff and was like, I will claim the leftover power that's in this staff. And then she finally makes him the avatar. And Khonshu is like, yo, we gotta team up if we want to stop her. So be my avatar. And Layla's like, F that. Like, you think I'm dumb? Like, I am not as desperate as Mark. Like, I'm not on my deathbed at the moment, right? Like, I don't have, the death of 20 people shackled to my conscience at the moment. Like, I am not gonna do that. I saw how horrible you made his life. Like, there's no way. And Khonshu, I think Khonshu in that moment was serious, right? Like, he was, at least temporary Styles was like, right? Like, he was cool with Layla being the avatar, at least temporarily, maybe. I mean, because at that point he thinks Mark is dead, right? That's the situation. But it's so funny that Layla's just like, no, screw you, I'll find a different way. And then we cut to Mark in the field of reeds with Taweret being like, yo, man, like, you're free, you can live this happy afterlife. And rightfully, Mark is like, dude, I can't be here knowing that Steven is just stuck there. Like, right? Like, he, throughout his whole life, he kind of feels a debt of gratitude to Steven, because he says, I was never alone because you were there. He never went through any of that stuff alone, whether or not Steven knew what was going down. Like, Steven didn't know they were being abused, but Mark was like, I was never alone. I mean, he's not aware of Jake Lockley, which is interesting. But yeah, and then he goes back to Mark, and he's like, dude, it's me and you, brother. If we're gonna die, we're gonna die together. Like, we've been together since the beginning. I'm not gonna leave you to die alone, which is beautiful. And then the gates of Osiris open for some reason. I wonder if we'll get an explanation for that. Maybe Osiris was just like, hey, man, so I realize I made a mistake earlier when I judged you in that trial. Now, here, you can come back. Or maybe it was just the power of their brotherly bond that freed them both, and they escape, and they heal these wounds, and they rise again as Moon Knight. And they have a nice little negotiation with Khonshu, where they're like, dude, this isn't going to go down the same way. Like, we are no longer operating on desperation. Like, if you want us, you're doing this on our terms. And I love the synergy from the midpoint on. The synergy between Mark and Steven is just wonderful, where they're like working together, and they can fly now. They fly now. Classic Star Wars reference. And then Layla becomes Taweret's avatar temporarily. I hope it's permanent, right? Like I assume what Layla means by temporarily is like whenever she wants, she can be like, hey, I'm done with this, right? Like if she can retire, she's a professional athlete and she can retire whenever she wants. And Tarwetta is just so pumped. She's like, yes, like let's go. This is gonna be so much fun. Like your dad is gonna be psyched when he finds out you're an Egyptian superhero. This is bitchin'. Because like her dad always believed, right, that the Egyptian gods were real. And not only was he confirmed true when he went to the afterlife, but now, which also means he's like a true believer because he went to the field of reeds. He's going to be even more psyched because his daughter becomes an avatar of like the cool one, the cool nice one, and her costume is just bitchin'. Like she looks so cool. She's got a little bit of a, somewhat too much similarities kind of between Falcon. Anytime Falcon does stuff with his wings, he's blocking stuff like that. He's slicing people up. She's got some swords though, which is cool. But she is so cool. She looks dope. She fights awesome. She's just a great. I'm in love with her. Is what I'm saying essentially. And then what precedes is a cool fight sequence, it's kind of like a cool Gundam sequence, Pacific Rim, that type of sequence where like there are these giant versions of the people fighting, and then there's also like the small people fighting, and they don't copy the same exact moves, right? Like the outcomes of the fight kind of translate to that, but then also don't translate because when they beat Harrow, Ammit is still like kicking the shiz out of Khonshu. So it's interesting. But yeah, like I mentioned before, the synergy between Mark and Steven really shines through on this, where they're like fluidly transitioning back and forth, like that, because neither of them are necessarily fighting to keep control over the body, right? Because previous episodes, Mark was like, oh, it'll take pretty much everything you have just to be a fly on the wall. And that was because whoever was in charge of the body at that moment was like, they were trying to stay there. Their consciousness was not wanting the other one to take control. But now that they're like chill with each other, they can easily just like transition back and forth. I liked the differentiating styles of fighting between the two of them, where I assume because they're like the same person, that Mark and Steven share fighting ability. Like they're both trained to fight. And so Steven knows all these sick moves that he just like has muscle memory and he can just destroy people. He's more of like if I had to describe it, more of like a kung fu martial arts fighter almost. And Steven and Mark is more of like a brawler. He uses his knives more, throwing knives a lot more. And it's very interesting, very cool. I liked that moment when Layla saves that little girl, and that girl's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And immediately she's just like, "Yes." like no hesitation, she just accepts it. Like she's so often there's moments in these stories where the character is like asked like, "Are you a superhero?" and they have to like grapple with the fact that like, yeah, they're a superhero. Like sometimes they're like, "I never wanted this, like I'm just a dude who has powers," like Captain America. They asked it like, "You're Captain," he's like, "I'm just a kid from Brooklyn." Like when they ask him, "Why are you so special?" he's like, "I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. Like there's nothing special about me." So it's kind of refreshing almost to see a moment where the kid's like, "Are you a superhero?" and she's like, "Yes, I am." Where they're just like, "Yep, she's a superhero. Deal with it." Like it's dope. She looks dope. She fights dope. She is dope. Like just fantastic. One of the most interesting moments of the episode. Haro has him on the ropes. Like he's gonna kill him. He's gonna stab him with his staff, and then Jake Lockley. You know, they pass out because we haven't met Jake. We haven't seen his perspective yet, so we're obviously not going to see what happened in that moment. Similar to, I believe the same thing happened in episode 1 when he killed all those people in like Germany or whatever that was. I think that was Jake Lockley. But he comes to, and he's got this axe like on Harrow's face. and everyone else around is dead, and it's just like, oh my god, like the carnage and brutality that just went down. And even Layla's like, dude, what the was that? And he's like, I blacked out. So presumably Steven and Mark are gonna have to grapple with the fact that there is another entity in there, possibly more, we don't know yet. But they have the choice to kill Haro or let him live, and they choose to let him live. And then it's very interesting that Khonshu frees them, where he really just like pretends, as we know based on the end credit scene, he just pretends that he freed them. And we cut to the back in the mental hospital, and I'm not sure what that specific scene is supposed to be saying, like, because it's not real, obviously, right? Like, that is a fake moment, but they like go back into the mental hospital for a brief second, and they're like synergized, but then they're like telling Haro that they're like, no, we're gonna be done with this little fake world, right? Because this world, this little mental hospital one, was the afterlife. It was like his version of the afterlife for a minute. But then we saw this little office, him talking, was like a further coping mechanism almost. In the last episode, when they got overwhelmed or were freaking out, it would go to this spot. And so maybe this was an extra protection layer. And now that they're saying, like, we're synergized, they're like, we don't need this little protection layer because we have each other. Like, we're going to go save the world. But it's also confusing because they're like, oh, we'd rather go save the world. But in their perspective, they're free of Khonshu. They don't have his powers anymore. So I wonder what that means. Or I wonder maybe they're under the thought process that Khonshu freed them from like their commitment to him, right? Like maybe he's still teamed up with them, like they're still the avatar of Khonshu, but they're no longer like enslaved to him. I don't know. It's weird because when he freed them, like the suit went away, so maybe it's a little, I don't want to say inconsistent with what it's saying there, but it is what it is. And then they wake up back in their little apartment, living on their own. And my question, where's Layla at this point? Like, what is she doing? Is she now, like, in charge of helping guide people through the underworld? Like, what's her role now going forward? I assume season 2 will be coming because of what we saw after. But, it's just very interesting that they wake up in bed just on their own. They got 2 fishes now, one for Mark and one for Steven. And, there's 2 fishes in the tank living harmoniously. That's good. They're still chained to the bed for some reason. Maybe they chained themselves to the bed still because they don't want Jake to get up and do stuff. But that doesn't work necessarily, because Steven chained himself to the bed because he thought he was sleepwalking, not because he has DID. If they're aware that there's another personality, they should just be aware that he'll just unlock that thing and walk away. So maybe it was just force of habit. They can't fall asleep without chaining themselves down. Like people can't fall asleep without listening to music or something. And then the show ends, and that's it until the post-credit scene, where we see Haro in a mental hospital, in an insane asylum, after he was allowed to live. He's at the Sinkowitz Psychiatric Hospital, which is somewhere. But then good old Jake Lockley goes to collect him, and he speaks Spanish, which is a fun little twist because we know Oscar Isaac has some Hispanic heritage, right? Like, so him speaking Spanish is not out of the blue. And it's just blatantly apparent as soon as you realize what's going on that it's him. Like, he kicks the wheelchair away. He's got an attitude, and he's just like he's just a fun dude. And Khonshu's just chilling, even more arrogant than ever. And he's like, he's not necessarily the booming voiced one that shows up to Steven and Mark. He's just like, he's a little more toned down, low key. He's like Mark Spector thought I was gonna give him up. He thought I wanted his wife. Is he stupid? Like, he does not realize how truly broken he is. He is all I would ever need, because Jake Lockley is brutal. And he turns around and is like, "How's it going, bud?" And just shoots him in the face. He kills Harrow. We thought that Steven and Mark made a quality decision of not letting him kill them, or not killing him and letting him live. Turns out Khonshu has his way regardless. And Jake Lockley just murks him on the spot. Insane. And then that's the season. That's the end. That's what we get for the cliffhanger. And it's like, bruh. Like, what? Oh man, that's insane. This show is so good. This show is so fun. Just the way it kept you on your toes the whole time, wondering what's real, what's not real, what's in his head, what is going on, like what's going to happen next. So often in these shows, sometimes you can kind of tell what's going to happen next. This one still had the I don't want to say downfall or like negative trope, but it had the kind of similar finale syndrome of like, you got to have a big fight scene where there's a big CGI fight and all that jazz. But I thought it worked really well because it was a very stylized fight. Like I said previously, very like Gundam Pacific Rim style situation, while still focusing more on the down low street level type stuff. And it was cool because it wasn't just it was better than those normal final fight things, because it wasn't just the character that we've seen the whole time, just fighting harder than before and winning. They introduced new elements to their fighting styles, working together as a team. They added in another character to fight with them, but then still kept mystery to it with how they got out of the situation with Jake Lockley. And it was really, really good. I thought the finale was fantastic, and it still leaves you questioning more stuff. Like, it doesn't answer everything. There's more questions that we have, and more things to look forward to for next season. Like, the final part of this episode is like, bro. It's like, like insane. And so I'm super pumped. This is going to be so much fun. Whenever I assume that means season 2, right? Like, there's no way Oscar Isaac would be willing to do this, especially the final scenes, if he wasn't willing to come back as Jake Lockley. And it also, I think it would just make things so fun for Oscar Isaac to be able to play not just one character. He gets to play at least 3 separate characters throughout the series. Like, he gets to have fun. He's not just stuck in one role, which is, I think, sometimes why these actors don't want to necessarily do it for super long, because they don't want to be stuck in the same role the whole time. They're like, Chris Evans doesn't want to play Captain America his whole life. Like, he doesn't want to get typecast in that way necessarily. But Oscar Isaac, Oscar Isaac could do this for like 20 years and consistently play 3+ individuals. Like, he wouldn't have to be tied. I mean, he'd technically be tied down to Moon Knight or Marvel or whatever, but it would add variety to his situation, which might incentivize him to stick around longer. Who knows? It would be cool to see him do a little Midnight Suns action. There's a team up group in the comics with I think Daredevil was in it, maybe, but I know Moon Knight is. I know Ghost Rider was in it. Blade, I think, was in it. Which, you know, Blade being introduced soon. That would be cool if they brought back Ghost Rider. That would be even doper. Like, it's gonna be crazy. This episode was fantastic. I thought it was a great finale. One of the, other than last episode, I think this was probably one of the best episodes of the season. I think this show as a whole really stuck the landing, where they kept the consistency up throughout the whole time. I mean, I know some people didn't necessarily like the first few episodes. I really did. But they really kept things strong to the end and added a little stinger to get us even more hyped. So I thought the whole finale was great. I thought the season as a whole was awesome. Where the nuance that they dealt with DID, they kept things emotional. They didn't use it as like a trope or like a get out of jail free card necessarily. Like, they took it seriously. So I think people who have dealt with DID, they shouldn't be, well, I don't want to say they shouldn't be upset, because I can't decide what they're upset or not upset about, but, you know, I think they did it well. But again, that's not necessarily up for me to decide. But holy cow. Oh man, I can't say enough how much I liked this. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of this episode and the season as a whole down in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? I want to hear everything you have to say. Leave giant paragraphs if you have to. Comment 8 times if you have to. Help my algorithm. No, this was fantastic. If you liked my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me. Helps my channel out a lot. If you are new here or find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see me react to more Marvel content. Reminder, I will be watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for the first time when it comes out on Disney Plus in however many months from now or whatever. Also going to be watching Miss Marvel, the show. If you're interested in Star Wars content, I'm going to be reacting to Obi-Wan at the end of the month, so stick around for that. Otherwise, we're currently watching Bridgerton and Euphoria, so those are fun shows as well. And Halo. And then if you want to support me even further, consider checking out my Patreon. That is linked in the description below or on one of these like end cards or whatever. I post all my full uncut reactions over there, so if that's something you're interested in, consider checking that out. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.